as the tsunami reaches these countries. Well, the magnitude 8.9 earthquake triggered tsunamis along the coast of Japan, and shortly after the tremors, water flooded this coastal city of Kamashi. Well, the sheer force of it swept along cars, trucks, boats, even buildings. Well, the water is rushing under this elevated road in Kamishi, stopping just short of flooding the road itself. And that is just what's so incredible. When you look at those people, you can see drivers who've got out of their cars and have just watched this wall of water just flow underneath them. Quite remarkable there. So you have an idea of the sheer size and scope of these waves, and you are now looking at pictures. We want to bring you pictures, I should say, of Sendai, the capital of Miyagi Prefecture. Well, these pictures came into us about 90 minutes ago, and what you are seeing is a massive wave rushing towards Sendai, eventually reaching it and inundating the coast. Well, local media puts the tsunami scene here at a staggering 10 metres high. Well, we now want to show you some of the scenes in the city of Sendai. These pictures here are of the airport, Sendai Airport, and they came into us a short time ago. You can see people standing on top of the building. The control tower is just there to the left of the screen, and these are people who are obviously taken shelter. They've raced to the top of the building as this 10-metre monster wave hit the city of Sendai. This, of course, is a city of some 1 million people. It is in the northeast, and just quite staggering scenes as you can see the wider picture of the cars, of just the water, the debris. We were actually speaking a little bit earlier about the lack of planes. We were seeing whether or not there were planes. Perhaps they had been warned that the tsunami was coming and was able to get the planes in the air, but we can't really tell from that wider picture. But you can see there just the enormous devastation. Well, let's go back to Anthony Chen, who is in Taipei. Anthony.
Hello. Hi. Yes, Anna. The Taiwan Central Weather Bureau has issued a tsunami warning for Taiwan. The waves are arriving at Taiwan's northern and northeastern and eastern coastal areas. The cities in eastern coast of Taiwan include Hualien, Haidong, Yilan, and the northern port city of Keelung, which are populated areas with more than 1.5 million people living in these four cities. The Central Weather Bureau said that the tsunami is expected around 5:36 p.m. Taiwan local time and 5:44 p.m. respectively, and another wave to hit the northern Taiwan city port of Keelung at 6:12 p.m. Taiwan Central Weather Bureau issued the tsunami warning at 1:46 p.m. with waves expected to be around 50 centimeters to 1 meter at Hualien. At the moment, the government of Taiwan has set up an emergency group to deal with the tsunami, and they are closely monitoring the situation. And currently, the local governments include Hualien, Haidong, Keelung, Yilan, and the new Taipei city government have cancelled schools and businesses, asking residents to return home as soon as possible and move far away from the coastal areas to protect themselves from being washed away by the tsunami waves. Anna?
Anthony, you said that the tsunami wave is expected to hit at some 5:36 p.m. What is the time there now?
The time here right now is 5:45 p.m. It's the same time as Hong Kong. Okay,
so in actual fact, the wave should have hit the coastline by now.
That's right. It's about right now that the waves are actually arriving on the coast of Taiwan. Anna? Okay,
and what are the height of these waves? Do we know how high these waves are?
Well, the government, the Taiwan Central Weather Bureau is expecting about 50 centimeters to 1 meter at Hualien, but currently, from the screen that we can see in live pictures, it's about the waves are not as huge as we expect, but we have to wait and see. Anna?
Okay, all right. So if it is a metre wave that is hitting the shoreline, how will that impact the coast of Taiwan?
At the moment, well, at Hualien, it's very close to the mountain areas, but there are many people. It's a populated city, and Keelung as well. On the northern coast, it's all populated with people. It's going to impact a lot of people living in these areas if the waves are too high and washed up into the land. Anna?
Anthony, what were authorities saying in the lead up to the tsunami hitting? I mean, as you said, the wave has hit some parts of the country, but we know that over the next, some 15, 20 minutes that it will continue to hit other parts of the country. But as you say, we are looking at a live picture there. There isn't a wall of water that we witnessed in Japan. The waves, as your bureau over there has indicated, it would be between 50 centimetres and a metre. So it would appear that Taiwan has perhaps dodged a bullet. Would you say that's correct?
Sorry, can you say that again? I couldn't hear the last word.
Anthony, it would appear that Taiwan has got away unscathed this time from what we know at this very minute, and looking at these pictures of the waves.
That's right. The waves are looking quite minimal at the moment, but we don't really know what will happen later if the waves become bigger and bigger later on. Anna?
Okay, Anthony. That's Anthony Chen joining us there from ET-TV. He is a journalist monitoring the situation as the tsunami hits Taiwan as we speak. Well, let's bring in our Chrissy Lou Stout now for more on where the earthquake struck. Chrissy.
All right, thank you very much indeed, Anna. Let's give you an idea of where exactly all of this unfolded. The epicenter of the quake was out here in the sea, about 130 kilometers to the east of the city of Sendai. It took place at a depth of about 24 kilometers. That is very, very shallow. The site, it lies about 373 kilometers from the capital, Tokyo, where buildings shook, the entire population was forced to take cover. And the quake was even felt as far as Beijing, China. But there's no doubting where the greatest impact has been. Tsunami waves have affected much of the east coast of Japan, with areas around Tokyo submerged. But the most dramatic scenes we've been watching all afternoon here have been along the coastline on farmland near Sendai. And local media reporting a tsunami of up to 10 meters, that's 33 feet in height here. That's clearly going to have a devastating impact on everything in its path, and we're still trying to understand, get a clearer picture of the total devastation. Now, I want to show you some video out of Tokyo as the earthquake struck this afternoon. This was the scene in our Tokyo bureau earlier on Friday, and you'll be seeing CNN producer Junko Ogura running to her desk. That's some 400 kilometers away from the epicenter. That was what the earthquake looked like, what it felt like in Tokyo earlier today, and the tremors lasted for several minutes. Anna.
Chrissy, we talk a lot about the size and scope of earthquakes. Where does this one rank? Okay, well, let's bring up another map for you. There's no question that this earthquake is a major event. It is one of the largest in Japan's history. The initial quake measuring a magnitude 8.9 is officially qualified as a great quake. Quake magnitudes do not directly tell you how much damage has been caused. Now, but by looking at various ranges, we can get some sense of what to expect. Now, starting in the sixes, earthquakes already quite strong and potentially destructive. But when you reach the sevens, they become major events, generally causing serious damage over larger areas. Now, in the eights, which is what we're reporting on right now, which is what happened in Japan. The quake was 8.9 in magnitude today. The damage, it goes across hundreds of kilometers. Anna, let's get back to you. Chrissy, thank you for that. Well, let's return to NHK, the public broadcaster, and listen
in Chiba Prefecture. Now, there has been extensive damage reported across Japan after this earthquake. In Miyagi, in the north of Japan, buildings and cars have left submerged in cities hit by repeated tsunamis. That's the footage you're seeing right now. Police say an unknown number of people are missing in many cities where tsunami waves of up to 7 meters tall swept through low-lying coastal areas. Now, you're seeing a footage from the Sendai airport in northern Japan. The airport has...
Okay, we now want to go to our Ivan Cabrera, who is standing by. Ivan, as we mentioned a little earlier, Taiwan is being hit by that wave. Any reports of damage?
Yeah, when you were talking to that gentleman there in Taiwan, he's basically essentially trying to tell you that there's no way for them to know the extent of any damage, and we're not going to know that. The rule is that you have to wait about 2 hours from the initial arrival, forecasted arrival of the first wave. Then if there's nothing happening within that 2 hours or after those 2 hours, then you're pretty much safe here. So a couple hours from now, if Taiwan is no longer or hasn't been reported any damage or any significant wave heights here, I think we're going to be okay. Philippines is next, 10 to 11 GMT, and authorities now we're getting word have evacuated with good reason, obviously here, right? 12 coastal areas. They've sent maritime warnings to ships at sea, told the smaller fishing boats to come on shore. The larger vessels actually have can pass through it rather safely if they can actually go further away from the coast. As you know, that amplitude is, you just couldn't feel it if you're out in open water there. So those warnings and those coastal evacuations are underway. Then we talk about Indonesia, 1050 to 1140 GMT, and there is Hawaii. Again, they've been under a tsunami warning now for a couple of hours here as the civil sirens have been ongoing there, and folks are told to evacuate. Australia from 1535 to 1845. And the different in times here are because of the coastline and the orientation of the countries that you're seeing here. Chile, obviously, very long, right? So it's going to take a while for the wave to get from the north to the south. So there you see the range. And take a look at that, 9:04 GMT. Tomorrow. So we're talking about an event here that is going to be ongoing for some time. It is the worst earthquake to hit Japan in 140 years. It is now ranked, as Christine was pointing out there, we are talking about a great earthquake here, and it is the 7th worst earthquake that we've ever recorded in history there, Anna.
Yeah, quite extraordinary. Ivan Cabrera, thank you. We'll check in a little later. We're now joined on the line by Simon Boxall. He's an oceanographer at the National Oceanography Centre in Southampton on the south coast of England. This is quite enormous, the earthquake that has struck Japan. Give us a bit more background.